Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langete Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namam Vishwapadaya Krishna Presthaya Vadarshim Vijay Pataka Swami Nitram Namha Charabhada Nitakpa Pradhane Gaurakata Dāmadaya Nagara Gramatarine Hare Krishna. Śrī Āndāl Nachiyar, incarnation of Bhumi Devi, appeared in the 8th century in the Divya Desam called as Srivalliputtur, which is in Tamil Nadu, and her father Periyalvar, who is also called as Vishnu Chitta, because all the time he was in deep meditation or remembrance of Vishnu, and he had a wonderful service of making flower garlands to the local temple, which is called as Vatapatrashai. And right from the tender age, Āndāl Nachiyar was into deep Krishna Bhakti, following her father. She took her father as guru and considered him as Krishna himself. So she was totally considering the guru to God himself. So this way, Āndāl Nachiyar, from the beginning of tender age, she has been spreading the message of Sri Krishna. And she has been doing Nagara Sankirtan, especially during the month of Mārgasirsha, which is also called as Dhanur Mas. It is a most auspicious month. And in the morning of Brahma Muhurta, she went out to call everyone to join her to do the Nagara Sankirtan and finally complete the Pāvai Nonbu, which is similar to that of Katyayani Vrat. And she was completely in the mood of Vrindavana. She considered herself as a gopi and considered all the Kumarikas also as gopi. And she brought out the lots of Sri Vrindavana Dham mood. And as her father was making garlands, she used to wear on her own and look at the mirror. Father noticed one day and he changed a new garland to the temple, but the Lord in the Vatapatrashai, he said, get the garland which was worn by Āndāl Nachiyar. For this reason only she has been called as Sudi Kodutha Chudarkodi. So Āndāl Nachiyar, as she was in deep love of Lord Ranganatha, the Lord Ranganatha came down from Srirangam to Srivalliputtur and get married to Āndāl Nachiyar. In this temple of Vatapatrashai, there is a sanctum sanctorum wherein Lord Rangamannar and Āndāl Nachiyar will be together. Āndāl Nachiyar composed these 30 Pāsurams, which is the essence of all the Vedas as well as Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So our endeavor is to bring in all the nectarian Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam revelations here into this Pāsuram. So in addition to that, she has composed all the Nachiyar Tirumozhi, which is also glorification of the Lord. In that, the Varanamayiram 10, which she is dreaming of the marriage of the Lord with her. So today's Pāsuram is also very, very glorious. We are on the 24th. This Pāsuram is also called as Tiruppāvai Pāsuram, because her father, Periyalvar, who first did the Nityapadi. Nityapadi means on a daily basis, he used to glorify the Lord. Pallandu, Pallandu, Pallayirattandu, Palagodi Nurayiram, like that it goes on. So that means the devotee wishes the Lord long life, long life. Not only the Lord, his consort and his associates. So this is a very interesting level of devotion. And similarly, in the footsteps of her father, as I told you, she considered her father as guru. She composed this Pāsuram, and as she was waking up the Lord in the previous two verses and the yesterday's verse, she was requesting the Lord to come walk and give her all the benedictions what they are going to ask. And she requested him to sit on the Singgasana. In today's Pāsuram, she is talking about individual leelas of the Lord. And what is more interesting, this Pāsuram is, there is a bridge between the Ramayana and the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So in this Pāsuram also, she is talking of the Ramayana. Actually, if you look at it in the entire 30 Pāsuram, there are 4 verses or 3 verses which are glorifying Ramayana and Lord Ramachandra. So this way the Pāsuram is much more glorious, and it's full of potri. Potri means all glories unto you, all glories unto you. We say Jaya Jaya, no? The same thing. Okay. So this way there is a wonderful Pāsuram. So before getting into the Pāsuram, I request Vanita Badrinarayan Mataji from Chennai to recite the Taniyan.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Nila Tungastanagiri Tadi Suptam Udbodhya Krishnam Parartyam Swam Shruti Sadasirasittam Adhyapayanti Svochishtāyam Srajinigalitam Yapalatprutya Punkte Kota Tasye Namayidamidam Puya Evastu Puyaha Annavayal Puduvai Arangarku Panna Tiruppāvai Palpadiyam இன்னிசையால் பாடிக் கொடுத்தாள் நற்பாமாலை பூமாலை சூடிக் கொடுத்தாளை சொல்லு சூடிக் கொடுத்த சுடர்கொடியே தொல்பாவை பாடியருள வல்ல பல்வளையாய் நாடினி வெங்கடவர்க்கு என்னை விதியென்ற இம்மாற்றம் நாம் கடவா வண்ணமே நல்கு. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. So now we will get into the today's Pāsuram in the Carnatic music. I request Aishwarya Gopalakrishnan to sing this Pāsuram today.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
From Coimbatore.
Nanu pranams to all devotees.
Hare Krishna.
அன்று இவ்வுலகம் அளந்தாயடி போற்றி அன்று இவ்வுலகம் அளந்தாயடி போற்றி சென்றங்கு தென்னிலங்கை செற்றாய் திரள் போற்றி சென்றங்கு தென்னிலங்கை செற்றாய் திரள் போற்றி குன்றச் சகடம் உதைத்தாய் புகழ் போற்றி குன்றச் சகடம் உதைத்தாய் புகழ் போற்றி கன்று குணில எரிந்தாய் கழல் போற்றி கன்று குணில எரிந்தாய் கழல் போற்றி குன்று குடையாய் எடுத்தாய் குணம் போற்றி வென்று பகை கெடுக்கும் நின் கையில் வேல் போற்றி குன்று குடையாய் எடுத்தாய் குணம் போற்றி வென்று பகை கெடுக்கும் நின் கையில் வேல் போற்றி என்றென்றும் சேவகமே எத்திப்பறை கொள்வான் என்றென்றும் சேவகமே ஏற்றிப்பறை கொள்வான் இன்றியாம் இன்றியாம் வந்தோம் இரங்கேலோரெம்பாவாய் இன்றியாம் வந்தோம் இரங்கேலோரெம்பாவாய்.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Asant Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu, I am opening the room. You can continue, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. That was wonderfully sung by Aishwarya Gopalakrishnan. Now we'll get into the Pāsuram and we'll get into the synonyms. In Sanskrit, we call it as Pada-Padartham. Okay. Andru Ivulaham Alandai Adi Potri Senrangu Tennilangai Setrai Tiral Potri Pondra Chakadam Udaitai Puhal Potri Kandru Kunilai Erindai கடல் போற்றி. குன்றுக்குடையாய் எடுத்தாய் குணம் போற்றி. வென்று பகை கெடுக்கும் நின் கையில் வேல் போற்றி. என்றென்றும் உன் சேவகமே ஏத்திப்பறை கொள்வான். இன்று யாம் வந்தோம் இறங்கேலோர் எம்பாவாய். அன்று, once upon a time, இவ்வுலகம், this world, or the entire cosmic manifestation, the entire material world, அளந்தாய், you measured, அடி போற்றி, your lotus feet, all glories, all glories, all glories. சென்று அங்கு, சென்று means went, அங்கு means there, தென் இலங்கை, the most richest Sri Lanka, or you can call it as south of Tamil Nadu, Lanka. Setrai, you destroyed your enemy. Thiral Potri, Thiral, your talent or the capabilities. Potri, all glories, all glories, all glories. Pondra Chagadam Udaitai Puhal Potri. In this, Pondra means the most dangerous or the venomous, or you can call it as demonic. Chakatam, who came in the form of a wheel. Udaitai, you kicked it. Puhal Potri. Puhal means your glories. Potri, all glories, all glories, all glories. Kandru means calf. Kunil, he picked up with its hind legs or legs. Yerindai, who threw it. Kadal, the Lord's lotus feet, wherein the anklets are there. Potri, again, all glories, all glories, all glories. Kundru, peak or mountain. Kudayai, like an umbrella. Eduthai, lifted. Gunam, your transcendental quality. Potri, all glories, all glories, all glories. Vendru, winning. Pagai, enmity. Kedukkum, destroying. Nin, in your lotus hand. Nin kaiyil, in your lotus hands. Veil, that sharp arrow. Potri, all glories, all glories, all glories. Endrendum, always. One, you are Sevagame, servitorship. Yeti, always glorifying. Yeti means here, this is a very special word. Yeti means keep on glorifying non-stop. That's called Yeti. Paraigolvan. So by doing so, Parai means, as I told you, the percussion instruments for the Kirtan. At that same time, the ultimate goal of every jiva to go back to Godhead. Kolvan, to get it. Indru, today, Yam, we, Vandom, came. Irangelor, Irangi means please shower your mercy, show your karuna or the compassion. Okay, so now we'll get into the translation and we will discuss the entire Pāsuram in detail. So blessed be thy divine feet when thou measured the three worlds, received as alms from King Bali, who appropriated the kingdom that was not his and gave trouble to the immortals. Blessed be thy strong arms with which thou hadst blasted the fort and the fine buildings of Lanka in the south, destroyed Ravana and his orders of crime of carrying of Sita from there. Blessed be thy glory when with thy outstretched leg thou hadst shattered to pieces the cart which thou originally meant as a shield of protection, became a source of danger when it was possessed by a demon. Blessed thy legs stretched apart, forward and rearward, and they rooted to the earth. When thou hast cast like a stone from a sling the demon-possessed calf against the demon-possessed wood apple tree, thus killing them both simultaneously. Blessed be thy gracious love, which has prompted thee to raise the mountain Govardhana and hold it as an umbrella to protect the cows and the Gopalas from the heavy shower of stones which Indra has caused his wrath, that sacrificial rites in his honor are given up. Blessed be thy Velayuta, which in thy hand becomes so powerful as to root out thine enemies and yield the victory. We have come here to sing about thy heroic exploits and obtain the musical instrument parai, with which we can carry on our ritual. May thou be pleased to do us this favor. Hare Krishna. So let us get into the Pāsuram analysis. This is a very amazing Pāsuram for many reasons. As I first told, it's called as Tiruppāvai. See, when we say Tiru means especially Śrī, or with due respect, we say Śrī, right? So, Palland, Pal means many, many, and means years. So, Tiruppāvai, generally we always wish our friends and relatives when we go for their birthday, right? We wish you many, many more returns, all this blah, blah thing. But here, what is important is a devotee of the Lord, and he has got such a amazing devotion and love of Godhead, he wishes the Lord to live long. What is interesting is he does not stop with wishing the Lord alone. This is the important aspect we have to understand here. He is also wishing his wonderful consort, Sri Lakshmi Ji. He is also wonderfully wishing many, many years for his associates, starting from the Shankh, conch shell, and the Sudarshana Chakra, and all the wonderful associates. So this was done by Āndāl Nachiya's father, Periyāழ்var. Of all the 12 Āழ்vars, the only Āழ்var who composed this Tiruppāvai, and this Tiruppāvai, he was singing all the days, all time in this Srivilliputtūr. Even now, if we go, we can see that, especially in the morning session, first the deity of Periyāழ்var will be brought in front of the Lords, Āndāl and Rangamanar, as well as Vadapatrashai, and the Arayar, what do they call it as Arayar, one who sings the glories on behalf of the Acharyas. So he will sing this Pallandu, then he will take the Lord, take Periyāழ்var in front of the deities to have darshan. So this is a procedure, and when he was also there, he used to do it on a daily basis. Other Alvars have done it, but not in detail like this. So let's get back to that. So Āndāl Nachiyar followed her footsteps. As we told earlier also, Āndāl Nachiyar and the Madhurakavi Alvar, they took the Alvar as gurus and considered their gurus equal to God. But the other 10 Alvars took Krishna or the Lord himself as the Guru. So there is a big difference. So here Āndāl Nachiyar is very clear. She takes the, or Anukaran, no? Anukaram we say that. No? So she is following the footsteps of her father, and she is glorifying the Lord Tiruppāvai. So yesterday verse we saw that wherein Āndāl Nachar had a special request. Yes, first she told to wake up in the 21 and 22. And in the 23rd, she said, no, that is not sufficient. You sit from the bed and bless us is not sufficient. You have to come like a lion, walk. We want to see the stylish walk, the beauty of how you walk. And she requested him to sit on the throne also, all these things. Then after telling all the requests, suddenly Āndāl Nachar moves into the Vatsalya Bhava here. That's very interesting, right? So there are lots of reciprocal between the Lord and Āndāl Nachar and all the Kumarikas. So in this, the first one, she felt it. The Lord's lotus legs would be paining. Like that, she felt it like a Vatsalya Bhava. Why? Because in the Vamana avatar, when he took alms from the Bali Maharaj, who gave 3 steps of the lotus feet of the Lord measured the entire creation, the spiritual as well as the material, everything was measured, right? So when he measured it, he took 2 steps. So the Lord has to expand and stretch his legs. So by stretching the legs, Āndāl Nachar felt it would be paining. So she said, oh, that wonderful lotus legs, all glories, all glories, all glories. So that's why she says, Andri Ivulaham Alandai. So while measuring, the Lord first he lifted his legs and completely measured upper planets. Then he measured the lower planets and nothing left out. And Bali Maharaj was in embarrassing situation. He promised 3, but 2 is over. 3rd step, where to keep it? It was a confusion for him. Finally, he requested the Lord to keep his 3rd lotus step on his head. But before that, Lord tied him with a Varuna Pasa as he could not fulfill the promise. So then later Lord showered so much of mercy. His grandfather, Prahlad, also came to bless him. So that is the interesting Leela, which is Trivikrama. So for that lotus feet, Āndāl Nachar says, Poti, 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 Jaya, 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 Jaya. Jaya Gosham is very important, especially in the temples, no? We should keep on say loudly, Govinda Jaya, Jaya, Gopala Jaya, Jaya. Like that we sing, no? Here also, Jaya, Jaya is repeatedly said. This is called Tiruppāvai. Okay. Then further, next line, Senrang Tennilangai Settatharal Poti. In this line, Āndāl Nachar is shifting from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam to Śrīmad-Ramayana. Because Āndāl has expressed so much love for Ramayana also and for so much love for Lord Ramachandra also. She was talking about one time the Kumbhakarna, then she was talking about killing Ravana. In this Pāsuram also, so there are 3 verses, if I remember it, 3 Pāsuram. She is glorifying Ramayana and Lord Ramachandra. So in this, what does she say? Oh, she felt it. Oh. The Lord took so much of pain to go all the way to cross the ocean and enter Lanka, and the Lord has spent so much of energy and capability. So for that, the Lord will be tired. So she is feeling again the Vatsalya Bhav. And what does she say? Since he had gone there, listen, what is more important? He had gone to the enemy's den, South Lanka. Actually, then there is another definition which is mentioned here is very riches full of. Because we heard from the Ramayana, Lanka was in full of riches. Unfortunately, this demon Ravana did not eligible for it. He did not maintain it for the simple reason he tried to abduct Srimati Sita, so which was the dangerous situation. So this way, Lord Rama went there, walking all through the forest, Sedu Samudram, and crossing the ocean. Again, he had to walk so much. And fighting with him was a very interesting thing which we heard in the Ramayana. So here the Lord had carried his bow and arrow, which is called a saranga. So the bow, which was on his shoulder, which was kept, it was making an impression on his shoulders because it's so heavy. And lifting it up and adding arrow and pointing out and fighting with Ravana so much of time, the shoulder of the Lord Ramachandra had some marks on it of the bow which was kept. So for that shoulder and for that prowess, Āndāl Nachiyar feels for it, and she is glorifying Jaya 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 Jaya. So for each and every Leela, the Lord did so much to protect the devotees and destroy the demons. So each and every time, Āndāl Nachiyar is really concerned about the Lord's energy, Lord's wonderful body, and Lord's lotus feet. Okay, that's one. Then moving on to the next one, Pondra Chagadam. Here, Pondra means which is having a demonic or a bad approach. Chagadam, the wheel, because as we see, Kamsa sent another demon. Again, she's coming back to Bhagavatam. So, wherein he sent a demon who came in the form of a wheel, cartwheel. So, when the Lord was in his cradle, he was coming closer to attack Krishna in the form of a huge wheel. And the Lord, without much effort, with his lotus feet, toe finger, he just touched that gigantic wheel, and the gigantic wheel broke to pieces with a thudded sound and fell down, and the demon was killed, Chakatasura. So while doing so, again, Āndāl Nachiyar having the Vatsalya Bhav, that small, soft, small baby, cradle baby means you know that, right? Few months old. And that for small lotus feet, which is very, very soft, and that lotus finger has been really hurt, or which efforts, there is a mark on his lotus feet because he touched the gigantic wheel to kill the demon. So Āndāl Nachiyar says that impression or the mark on the lotus feet of the Lord and the lotus finger, she is telling Jaya 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 Jaya. Right? See that the bhava of Āndāl Nachiyar in each and every Leela. This is what we have to learn. See, all these wonderful verses are called as Stuti, we can call it as now. Why? Because here it's all glories and special prayers to the Lord. So when we sing these glories, the Lord will be extremely pleased, especially when the Āndāl Nachiyar has composed it and we repeat it like a parrot. Lord will be much more pleased. This is what we repeatedly say. Even in the Bhagavatam also, there are so many wonderful prayers and stutis. One has to always recite it on a daily basis to please the Lord and his devotees. Okay. Then moving on to that, Kandru Kunil A Verindai Kadal Pochi. In this, again in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, there are two types of demons. One is name is Vatsasura, and the other one is Kapitsasura, right? So again, Kamsa sent a demon, and that demon took the form of a calf because Krishna was grazing all these cows and calves. So he thought, if I come in the form of a calf, I can attack Krishna and I can succeed. Like that, he came in the form of a calf. Krishna noticed it among the calves. There is a demon, and he could make out this was sent by Kamsa. So Krishna, what did he do? He fought and finally caught hold of its legs. And he was feeling it like a chakra, because the Lord in his lotus hand, he has got the Sudarshana chakra. Similar to that, this calf demon was rolled, swelled in the air non-stop, and finally he threw it just like a small child throwing a grass on the field. So what did he do now? But Krishna threw this demon, Vatsasura, on an apple tree. What is the type of apple tree? It's a very special one. I forgot the name of it again. It's a different type of apple tree on which Krishna threw it, and the Vatsasura died, as well as the demon who came in the form of a tree, he also, Kapitsasura, he was also killed. So as we know that, many times I used to say, no, in Tamil, oru kallu rendu maga. That means one stone and you get 2 mangoes. So here also, Krishna did one lila, but he finished the 2 demons in the process sent by Kamsa. So here, while doing so, Āndāl nature, how deep she is observing the Lord. When we read the Bhagavatam also, it is explained very well by Sukadeva Goswami that the Lord, to swell it, the demon Vatsasura, and throw it, he used all his energy on the lotus feet. Many people would say, why Āndāl nature is talking about the lotus legs when he was hitting the Vatsasura on the Kapitsasura tree. So Gunam Poti means what? Kadal Poti means here the lotus legs of the Lord were firmly fixed on the earth to do this. So he put all the force from the lotus feet to the hands. Generally we do that. No, whenever we try to do a hard work, what we do? We try to press on the earth and try to. So here also Āndāl nature is Kadal Poti. Kadal Poti means where that anklets are worn, that lotus anklets and leg, she says, Jaya, 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 Jaya. So this much one can understand how Āndāl nature is deeply relishing each and every Leela, and each and every Leela, she is able to feel it. The Lord is a child. She considers in the Vatsalya Bhav. Originally, they want to get Krishna as their husbands, but here, this portion, she is having a Vatsalya Bhav like Yashoda and so many other gopis. So, moving on to the next one, Kundru Kudayai Iduttai Gunam Pochi. This is the great Leela, which we always glorify in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and we celebrate in a grand way, what is called as Govardhan Puja, right? Or we call it as Annakut and so many things, right? So what is this Leela? It is very interesting. For ages together, the cowherd community were having the celebration and thanking Indra for giving them all the support, rain and other things, so that enough grass, enough of other wealth is there for them, so that the cows can have all the grass to eat and it will yield more milk, all these things. So this had been going on for many years. When the Lord appeared, he told his father, Nanda Baba, here the conversation between Krishna and Nanda Baba in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, one must read. Each and everyone should read it. Why? Because each and every child, they should know how to approach their parents and how to put their request nicely and how to nicely convince them. This is a very important thing. So here Krishna is talking to Nanda Baba and he says, you are all getting all these things because of your past good deeds. And no way Indra is helping you or showering you anything on that count. So there is no need for worshipping Indra. So you worship the Govardhan Parvat. So that alone gives you all wealth and all the cows are grazing there only and they are having all the food, everything, and it gives you so much of milk yield, everything. All the riches you get it only from the Govardhan. Like that Krishna is telling. With all the wonderful explanations and scientific reasons given by Krishna, Nanda Baba agreed to worship the Govardhan. When the Govardhan was worshipped, Indra got angry. Indra thought, this small cowherd boy is trying to steal away my worship. This is unfair. So he thought, I have to teach them a lesson. And what did he do? He called out his assistant, Varuna, what is called as the special rain. So he called out that Samvartaka. That Samvartaka rain is something similar to that what we had seen in Chennai recently, wherein even in the Thoothukudi, Tirunelveli districts also, you might have read in the newspaper, 100 centimeters within 24 hours. So that means the whole clouds bursted and flooded, and the entire area become another ocean. So ocean is shifted from ocean place to the land. Like that, this fellow also did it, and he thought he'll be able to travel them and teach a lesson. But he was completely forgetting the Lord's position. Though he is a Deva, though he was asking for the help of the Lord many times, in this situation, being in the Rajoguna, Tamoguna, he also felt it and forgot the Lord's position. So now the Lord thought, oh, it is high time I have to destroy his ego. And what did he do? Without making any noise, he silently lifted the Govardhan Parvat, because the Lord expanded as Govardhan Parvat and accepted all the offerings of the Gokulvasis and Vrindavanas, the entire cowherd community. So the Lord was very much pleased, and the Lord has a vow, he has to protect his devotees. There cannot be any second thought. So Name Bhaktaha Pranashyati, and many places he says, I have committed in my all time to protect my devotees. What does he say? Ma Suchaha Sarva Dharman Paridyajya. So all the dharma were set aside by the Vrajavasis, and they only took the shelter of Krishna, and the Lord has the duty to protect them from this abhaya. Right? So the Lord lifted the Govardhan Parvat. He was 7-year-old boy, and he lifted the Govardhan Parvat for 7 full days, and all the rain clouds, Samvartaka and Indra, were drained out. They don't have any more water to shower. And all the entire Vrajavasis took the shelter under the Govardhan Parvat, which was held by Krishna at the age of 7 for 7 full days. In this also, there are wonderful pictures which we have to remember and recollect it. Prabhupada has spent so much of efforts and so much of dedication in bringing out the Bhagavatam book. In the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, one can see all these wonderful photos relevant to each and every Leela. In this Leela, you can see there will be so many Vrajavasis. They are all in the Vatsalya Bhav. They are thinking, oh, my dear child Krishna, only age of 7, and he is holding such a huge parvat for 7 days. We all have to support. So what they are thinking, they are bringing all the sticks which they were using for grazing the cows and calves. They are holding the mountain as if they are thinking. But who is holding the mountain? Govardhan Parvat, the Lord. But they are thinking they are supporting Krishna or they are helping Krishna. This is the Vatsalya Bhava. So here Āndāl Nachiyar, here also she is telling Gunam Pothi. Gunam Pothi means here the transcendental quality is very important. As I told you, the Lord is above all these qualities, material quality. What is that? Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. He is always in the Shuddha Sattva. So his vow to protect the devotees always remain. So that great quality of protecting the devotees, here Āndāl Nachiyar says, Jaya Jaya, Jaya Jaya, Jaya Jaya. Right. Moving on to the next one. Benru Pahai Kedukkum Nin Kayil Vel Pothi. Here we have to recollect the first verse wherein Āndāl Nachiyar is telling, Kodunthozhil Margari Tingal Madine Nandalam, Nirada Podvir Podunanum, Sirmalhu Mai Madi, Chelva Chirmirgal, Kurvel Kodunthozhilan. What is the written there? When she is talking about the Nanda Baba, she is telling Kurvel. Kurvel means sharp sparrow, what is called it. It is a wooden stick, and the top there will be a metallic spear like that. So anything that comes to disturb Krishna, Nanda Baba used to attack. Here also, generally, when they go on herding the cows and calves for grazing, what they used to do, they used to carry this. Any problem for the cow and calf, they will use this weapon to attack it. So here also, Krishna is holding this Vendru Pahi Kedukam. Pahi means enmity. Whoever the enemy comes, what does he do? With that, he has attacked them. And Āndāl Nachiyar here, in this particular line, she is not glorifying the Lord, but she is glorifying that wonderful associate. What is that? That spear or whatever you call it as. That is glorified here. Ninkayil vel pochi. So that means that is also glorified. In many places, as I told you in the Alvar, Periyalvar also, what does he say? In his lotus hand, this Sudarshana is there. That also is glorified as Palland. Here also, the same footstep Āndāl Nachiyar also follows. And what does he say? The spear, what is there in the Lord's hand, veil. For that also she says, Jaya, 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 Jaya. Then finally, what does she say? Endrendrum. This is a very primary importance here. Endrendrum means we say Satatam, Nityam. Same translation here. Endrendrum means always. Always means there is no break, continuously. Un sevagame. Only to be a servant of you eternally. What is that servitorship? Eti means to always glorify, always to sing your glories, always sing your holy name, always sing your wonderful beauty of the form. So by all these things, what does she say? By doing so, Parai Kolvan, we request you to give us the Parai, that percussion instrument for performing the Nagara Sankirtan. There is another translation of Parai is going back to Godhead. That is the ultimate goal of the Jiva. She is telling Kolvan, we are looking for it. Yesterday, she was not asking for any list of things. You remember? What does she say? Based on our qualification, go through the files, scrutinize, and you bless or give us whatever we are eligible for it. In this verse, she is telling all the glories, and finally she is telling only we want your abode and we want to be an eternal servitor. This is the Vaishnava philosophy. They always remain as an eternal servant of the Lord wherever they are. So again, and when we look into the Mukunda Mala, also Kulasekara Alvar, he is telling, I am not worried about going to hell, but I have to be your eternal servant. I am not going to be happy if I go to heaven. I am always looking for your eternal servitorship. So these are the wonderful things which we have to understand, the primary Vaishnava philosophy based on servitorship. Indriya Bandhum, we all have come here. So show your compassion. So this way, Āndāl Nachiyar has described and glorified each and every aspect of it. So one can recollect and how beautiful Āndāl Nachiyar has done this. So in this connection, as I told you, we are picking up only one Leela because there are so many Leelas involved. As I told you, because in certain Pasurams, Āndāl Nachiyar has filled so much of nectar, and we do not know what to take, what to leave. So this is the nectar of ocean, we can call it as. Nectar of devotion, we say, nectar of instruction, but this is nectar of ocean, right? So in this verse, we are taking up only one Leela, which is the Govardhan Leela. Okay. So getting into the Govardhan Leela, 10, 25, 17. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nahi Sadbhava Yuktanam Suranam Isha Vismayaha Matto Satam Matto Asatam, it is okay. Matto Satam Mana Bhangaha Prasama Yo Pakalpate Upakalpate Prasama Yo Pakalpate. The translation. Since the demigods are endowed with the mode of goodness, the false pride of considering oneself the Lord should certainly not affect them. Listen carefully, because devas are always in the mode of goodness. But unfortunately, Indra was affected by the mode of what? Pride, which is considered as Rajotama Guna. And it should not affect them. Then what is the next line? When I break the false prestige of those bereft of goodness, because they had goodness, but they lost it because of false prestige. This is what Trinatapi Sunichena. The moment you are having ego and false pride, automatically you are pushed down from the Sattva Guna to the next two levels. So here the Lord says, my purpose is to bring them relief. So the Lord did this. Sadbhava Yuktaha. So moving on to the next verse. This is the primary cream of the verse. Okay. Tasman Macharanam Goshtam Mannatham Mat Parigraham Gopaye Swatma Yogena Soyam Me Vrata Ahitaha. I will repeat again. Tasman Macharanam Goshtam Mannatham Mat Parigraham Gopaye Swatma Yogena Soyam Me Vrata Ahitaha. So here the Lord says, I must therefore protect the cowherd community by my transcendental potency. Listen carefully. Protect them with my transcendental potency. And what does he say further? For I am their shelter. So the Vrajavasis have taken the complete shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. This is the pride in the topmost level. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says one should follow the footsteps of Vrajavasis. Right? For I am their shelter. And what does he say further? I am their master. Because all the Vrajavasis considered themselves as eternal servitor. So there is lots of relation to this verse. Yeah? What is it? Endendum sevagame. Endendum un sevagame eti paregalvan. So this is also expressed in this verse. What does he say? I am their master. Right? And indeed, they are my own family. So this is the primary reason the Lord showered so much special mercy and compassion for those Vrajavasis. So in this connection, there is a wonderful verse by Brahmaji also. Let me complete the translation first. After all, I have taken a vow to protect my devotees. What is that? After all, what does he say? After all, I have taken a vow to protect my devotees. So Brajajana is their own men. So this way, Name Bhaktaha Pranashyati. He said that, right? So this way, he is protecting his devotees without fail. So there are wonderful, so many nectarian things. Since due to the time limits, we are trying to concise it. Otherwise, one can expand it to any extent. And it keeps on going. It's a nectarian flow, and one can make out, as I told you, Manimala, because every shloka can be connected so well, and it is all relevant to this Pāsuram. This is very important. I request all the speakers to relate the Bhagavatam shlokas to this Pāsuram, because there are each and every Pāsuram has got so much of nectar from the Bhagavatam. So one can relish the Pāsuram through the Bhagavatam shlokas also. This is what we repeatedly say. So such a wonderful Pāsuram in this, and Āndāl Nachar has given us a wonderful guidance on this, how to pray to the Lord and how to glorify the Lord. And all glories to Śrī Āndāl Nachar, because without her we cannot relish this, and without her we cannot have the Krishna Bhakti. So we are taking the shelter of the devotee of the Lord, and we take the shelter of Srila Prabhupada, who has guided us in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And especially I request all the devotees, repeatedly read the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam by Srila Prabhupada, and the purports are somewhere cannot imagine, such a nectarian, top class ones. So I request all of you to repeatedly go through the verses and by heart it. Okay. Hare Krishna. With this, I try to complete it here. So today's host, Prabhu, can you show their names? What is the name of the devotee, Prabhu? I could not get it. I saw that, I forgot the name. Vidyagati Prabhu, can you announce the whole family name?
Hare Krishna. Today's host is Yoginder, Sudhani, Disha, and Mannat. All family together. Yoginder.
There are some more relatives also, I think so, no, with them.
The Mangalārati carry today's woodstead for their father's death anniversary. So they want prayer for that.
For that soul. Okay, sure. So let us pray for today's host. And another prayer request is coming from here. Swarna Gopika Mataji and Tulsi Prabhu anniversary, marriage anniversary, I think so. For that also we will pray. So for all other devotees who are having birthdays and other celebrations, let us all pray for all of us. And we all have to progress in Krishna Bhakti as explained in these verses. Let's all chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra thrice. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much. Host, thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Asudhani Prabhu, Yogendra Asudhani Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Also telling thank you so much.
आपको बहुत धन्यवाद. Hare Krishna.
आपको भी बहुत धन्यवाद.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. It's time for Krishna Priya to take over now. Asant Prabhu, what